women are victims.
Okay.
Right? Physically, women are still weaker.
Okay.
Right? So, and the mindset that they are scared to even report because there is societal stigma. Families don't let them to file a complaint.
Okay.
The fear that they will lose their job. Financial independence is lost.
True.
For women managers, where you have to keep talking to employees saying, hey, we have zero tolerance here. We do not tolerate it. Right? Do not wait for a complaint. Probably women are scared to report. But the moment leaders say, hey, I'm here for you, come to me, my doors are open, come to me and speak. I don't tolerate any form of harassment. This is a safe workplace. When leaders walk the talk, when leaders announce it, and when the POSH committee speaks to women saying, hey, come to me and reach out to me, that is when women get the confidence.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Dexian Talks, an initiative by Dexian India. I'm Ashwin, I'm happy to present it today. Today, it's a real pleasure to welcome Ms. Viji Hari, CEO and co-founder of CecureUs, author and TEDx speaker, and a strong voice for building safe and a mentally healthy workplace. This conversation is extra special for us because Dexian has won Safe Workplace Award from CecureUs. And we are delighted to have Viji with us today to talk about leadership, culture, and human side of great workship. And to make this episode even more interesting, the conversation will be led by our country head, Kumar Rajagopal.
Hello, Viji. How are you?
Hello, sir. Thank you for having me. I'm doing very well. How are you?
No, it's a pleasure. It's been always we are looking for this discussion, and especially in the current context with a lot of GCC companies are coming in India, we thought it's appropriate to have someone who's been specialized in this, especially into the prevention of sexual harassment, and those who have been associated with Dexian for a long time. It would be appropriate to call them, and you are our best friends to kind of make things happen here for us.
Always happy to be here at Dexian, and Dexian Talks is doing really well. So honored to be here.
Thank you. So let's, I think, probably start with a very, very simple thing, because this particular field, it's so specialized. And 10 years back, I've not even seen it. 15 years back, it was not much in terms of the corporate world. Even the POSH right now has picked up momentum. Everybody knows about it. But 15 years back, like even the senior leadership does not know much about that one. First thing is like where it started in India that way, and how you started this practice.
Okay. So in India, I think the story goes back way back 1996. So almost 30 years now, and that is when the Vishaka guidelines came in. So thanks to a lady called Bavari Devi, who struggled or who went through a rape while doing her work duties, and because of which her case went on to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court recognized that working women needs to be protected. Not a single working woman should quit her work because of sexual harassment. So thanks to the NGO Vishaka, which helped create a Vishaka guidelines, and then later the Vishaka guidelines became the law in our country. The Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition, Redressal 2013 Act. So that came in 2013, and which made organizations to be completely compliant. They have to be adherent to certain norms. And across India, thousands of women have been benefiting out of it. And my journey specifically, I have a background from Infosys Technologies. For first 13 years of my career, I was with Infosys, and I was one of the early women who had joined there. So I was part of the women buddy group, and Infosys that time was compliant with the Vishaka guidelines.
Okay.
So I used to be part of the Vishaka committee then itself. So I had a very close. I was very passionate about this whole part of being part of Vishaka committee and helping women. And Infosys had such strong policy where they empowered all women employees. So it used to be a joke that any guy who'd come and flirt or something, they'd say, hey, do you want me to write to POSH committee? So that used to be a joke, but that actually worked. because it went at that level.
Okay.
So I had so much passion towards that. And in 2013, that's when the law also came in. So I had decided to take a break from my career. I wanted to get into the entrepreneurship thing, and this law came in right at that time. So I moved in, and I was one of the early starters to be talking about this law and spreading awareness.
Okay.
So it gave me a head start then.
Okay.
And at that time also, when I was looking at how to get started, there were a lot of lawyers who were talking about this,
Okay.
which is not really reaching the employees. It is going all legal terms, which is going over the head. So I came from the employees thing. I knew what the employees wanted, so probably it helped me really well, and it acted in my favor.
Okay.
So, and there's no looking back now. It's been 13 years, and I've worked with more than 900 plus corporates across India,
Okay.
helping them to be a safe workplace.
Fantastic. And we are fortunate to have, I think, the earliest companies to be part associated with
Right,
you.
right.
Right.
Thank you for being that well-wisher and being that support.
No, it's like it's our honor. But coming back to before getting into other discussions, tell us about CecureUs. How did you name that company? And I know that like you started single-handedly, kind of grew right now. Dexian benefited a lot with CecureUs, but I just wanted to hear from you. Is like, how did you start, and what is the journey about?
Yeah. So, Secure Us, as the name goes, creating safe and secure workplaces. So, we believe in preventing sexual harassment, creating inclusive workplaces, and in mental health for employees. All of these three points are something very crucial for the safety of employee, and that is what we believe in. So, creating safe workplaces, safe and secure. So just the spelling is CECUR because we couldn't get the domain name of secure with the original S. So we went for CecureUs, and it was in 2020 when we launched CecureUs.
Okay.
And I started it off, yes. And one thing that I strongly believe is I ensure all my team members are all women.
Okay.
And they are spread across India. My team is across different states. One is it's helped me expand across the country. It's helped me. I have clientele across India.
Okay.
So because my team is spread across,
Okay.
and what I noticed was the talented women in India, they're not able to go for a full-time job because sometimes there's no support system to take care of children at home or take care of elderly parents at home. So women are stuck to being at home in some cases,
Okay.
but they have the potential. So I said I kind of picked those kind of women. One, it's a win-win for me. They stick with me for a very long time, and it's a win-win for them as well because from home they are able to work. And I have requirement where I have 2 or 3 people from each city, so I don't really have to have a office set up as well in those locations. But women are there to go and meet my clients and pitch or deliver stuff. So that really has helped me, and it's been a blissful journey so far. And my team has been there, one of the least attritions that I have in my team as well.
Okay.
So the team is growing, we are growing. So
Okay. How many employees are there right now?
I have 15 employees on roll, and apart from that, I have around 45 employees who are freelancing with me and supporting on various different aspects, including psychologists, lawyers, and HR experts.
Fantastic. So again, back to the question which you started your journey with Infosys, and at that point of time, I think probably the female representation in any company, I would say not more than 20%, 15% or 20%. But now over the years, I would say safely assume you have a 25 years experience, 25 to 26 years. So now you have seen a different dimension in a corporate. What has shifted? Like, is it just a number from say 15 to 20% representation to 35 to 40% representation, or even at the leadership level? What has changed, transformed in India as far as the women representation is concerned?
So definitely, I think thanks to Infosys, TCS, Wipro, a lot of women started coming into workforces, and parents felt it was safer to send their girl children there. Right? There were hesitation to work in the night shifts initially. Still, a lot of families were not okay. But as years have progressed, with all the safety regulations that even the government has been setting up in terms of supporting the POSH guidelines, or be it safe transport for women employees, I think all of these things has enhanced, helped women to come into workforce as well.
Okay.
And it's been a win-win for women also, where they see that, okay, during the day they're there for children who have to come from school or send them to thing, and then in the night when the children are sleeping, they are able to come into office and work and establish their own independence as well. So
Okay.
that is something, and it is a win-win for the entire family, because when a woman is earning and is independent, it's not just her, she who's growing, but it's the entire family that's growing, and the entire community and society.
True.
So, and that's something that I've always been telling women, that if you come into work, if you're earning even a 1 lakh a month, so you can set aside 10,000 rupees to have a nanny at home, to have a maid at home, to have a cook at home. So one woman who's working in an IT company or in a BPO sector is able to give three more employment for three other women.
Okay.
So it is flourishing, and women are now grabbing the opportunities. And I think the overall GDP of our country, somewhere it is, because the spending capacity of the family is also increased, right? So I think that is one of the success stories for India's growth as well.
Yeah, in fact, I'll share my experience. One of them told me that even there are a lot of GCCs which are coming up in India, the credit is not given to those people, those who are established. The credit should be given to the mothers, those who have raised the children, because they have to come back to India and establish something. So there is a safe place which is out there in India to establish that one.
Lovely.
That's how the due credit for the economy should be given to the mothers also.
Right, right.
So again, back to the question. So now the leadership is also there is a shift. I think women leadership is also increasing. So does it make it easier for a Vishaka guideline to be implemented when a women leadership is there in the HR? Do you see that way, or generally when the women leadership is increasing, there is an empowerment, and automatically is like kind of the uh, safe workplace is evolving in a corporate environment. What do you see that way? Is it because of the guidelines, or is it because there is an empowerment which is happening?
Lovely. I never thought of this, but I must say that the law, the POSH Act, it actually says that every organization should form a POSH committee, and the POSH committee should be headed by a senior women employee.
Okay.
Right? So that's a mandate.
Okay.
Right? And why a senior women employee? Is because they understand what an aggrieved woman would have gone through.
Okay.
Right? And that mandate has also helped a lot, where organizations have started bringing in women employees into workforce, into senior roles.
Okay.
Because earlier days, I know that a lot of leaders would come to me and say that, Vijay, I don't have a senior women employee, so who can be a IC presiding officer?
Okay.
But now I think things are changing. So a lot of women leaders are there, and they know that if a complaint comes, they know that it is very serious, and they go all out to ensure justice is provided.
Okay.
So they take it seriously.
Okay.
So, and I think it is two-way, where women, I think they think from the heart, and the empathy is more,
Okay.
and the law is also empowered
Okay.
the organizations to do that.
Okay. We'll come back to the Vishaka guidelines, but you touched that the women employees or women senior leadership for women should be there in the POSH committee. At any point of time, in your experience, because you have been experienced in this lot of companies, there are 900 plus companies. It's not a small number. So day in, day out, you're talking to people like me everywhere with the CXOs. Do you feel that, like, at any point of time, the male employees come back and say, this is becoming too one-sided and we are victimized every now and then? Is it that way is also happening, or is it like most of the cases are, when it comes up, 90% of the cases you settle, no, the female is right, it's not, the male employee is in fact in guilt or something like that?
So wonderful. So just to go with statistics, I would say I've done a lot of surveys in every organization that I go. During training, my team does a survey with employees, which is an impulsive survey that they do. We've seen that 5 to 6% of women do undergo harassment in all workplaces. And that is 5 to 6%. This is where organizations have created a safe workplace. They're compliant. They've created a lot of awareness. Where organizations are not even compliant, there the number is 8 to 10%.
Okay.
Right.
That's
So
current statistics.
current statistics where
It's not the
women are
past.
victims. Current statistics. Right. So so let's keep an average at least 5 to 6% are victims in all organizations.
Okay.
But the complaints that are actually filed is 0.1 or 0.2%.
Okay.
That is the level that the numbers are coming out. Women are still scared to speak up.
Okay.
And I've personally myself handled close to 300 plus sexual harassment cases across various different organizations, let alone my team. In those 300 plus cases, only 5 or 6 are false complaints.
Okay.
Rest all, and another maybe 5 or 6 I would say where maybe male to male harassment has happened between gay employees. So those issues would have happened. But rest 290 of the complaints are genuine ones where women have been victims.
Okay.
So that is the fact.
Okay.
And in some cases, I would say at least 20 to 25 cases where women employees have been suffering for last 4 years, 5 years, like the current case that is there in the media that has been there for so long and just come to light
we
now.
have to come to that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So women have been suffering for very long. They're scared to speak up,
Okay.
scared to voice out.
Okay.
That is a fact.
Okay.
But to the question that you asked, where men are they victimized, the mindset still is that in a lot of organizations, I know senior leaders themselves come and say that, oh Viji, this law is a double-edged sword, women will use it against men, that's not a fact. Women are victims.
Okay.
Right? Physically women are still weaker.
Okay.
Right? So and the mindset that they are scared to even report because there is societal stigma. Families don't let them to file a complaint.
Okay.
The fear that they will lose their job, financial independence is lost
True.
for women. See, all of these things where women don't even speak up.
Okay.
So that is the fact where I definitely will urge organizations to strongly implement this and to not take any complaint even lightly.
Okay.
Very few cases I've said 5 out of 300 has been false.
Okay.
Right? Misused cases. Whereas rest all have been true cases.
Okay.
That is the numbers. So I think it is all in the mindset where still some mindsets have to be changed where still they are in the old thoughts where women can misuse it or men can be victims. And I'd also urge, I know some men who have come to me and said that they're scared to speak up, law does not favor them. I definitely would urge, speak up, only then the changes will happen, right?
Okay.
When we are not even seeing the numbers in place, right? I've hardly had a case where a male has come and said that a senior woman came and harassed me. Only false complaints men have been victims.
Okay.
But no one actually has come forward to file because there is a stigma. And I don't say that I don't deny men are not victims. Men have also been victims. Numbers are very, very low. Men also don't speak up.
Okay, but interesting point which you touched. So it's not happening. The senior, if a female employee is a senior, men does not come and complain. Probably the case does not exist. But in the other side of it, for female employees, do you see most of the cases are from a senior to junior, or is it peer to peer? Which one is like kind of most you see a lot of cases coming up?
I would say it's a mix actually. I would say 50-50 both.
Okay.
So it happens between peer to peer as well, relationship going wrong or boundaries crossed, consent not taken, digital forms of harassment, social media stalking. So all of these things happen between peer to peer, whereas power play is also there. Power play is also more serious where women are really scared to open up. Because at least peer to peer, they can speak up, they can handle it themselves, they learn to say no or kind of push it off. Whereas in the other case, they are scared that they are going to lose their job, right? And lack of evidence, all of these things come into play.
The power play is like kind of, because the reason I asked that question actually, the peer to peer is to some, in my view, it can be handled independently or individually. When it comes to power play, it's not just like one person to one female. It can be multiple people who may have got affected.
Correct.
So that's where it is very scary for an organization to kind of run it, because it becomes institutionalized issues there.
Right.
So,
Right. Right.
Have you seen such a thing happens and a company comes out of that one after that?
Multiple cases, I would
Okay.
say. Yeah. So, see, definitely, I think the POSH committee plays a very crucial role. Leaders play a very crucial role, and managers, where you have to keep talking to employees saying, "Hey, we have zero tolerance here. We do not tolerate it." Right? Do not wait for a complaint. Probably women are scared to report, but the moment leaders say, "Hey, I'm here for you. Come to me, my doors are open, come to me and speak. I don't tolerate any form of harassment. This is a safe workplace." When leaders walk the talk, when leaders announce it, and when the POSH committee speaks to women saying, "Hey, come to me and reach out to me," that is when women get the confidence. Otherwise, I've seen multiple cases where women, in one recent case that I handled last year, the complaints were coming from 2017 onwards, the victims were suffering with one team lead.
Okay.
He was harassing, and 12 women spoke up.
Okay.
Finally, last year they spoke up. But it was happening from 2017 onwards. Even during COVID, it was happening virtually.
Okay.
So, and all the managers were shocked, saying, "Did that team lead even do this? We didn't even know that he had the other face
Okay.
side," right? And multiple such cases I've seen. And in a lot of times, women know that it's happening, but they're like, "Who was going to bell the cat? Who will be the first one to complain? Will you do it or will I do it?" And they just keep quiet.
Okay.
They don't know whether to go and report it to their managers, because they think the team lead and managers are buddy,
Okay.
and they think that the manager is going to support them.
Okay.
I don't have evidence. What will I do? These
Okay.
are the fear factors that's going on.
Okay.
And a lot of times, even witnesses have a very important role as bystanders. They need to speak up.
Okay.
At least go and tell to the HR or tell to the POSH committee that, "Hey, this is something that I noticed. I'm just bringing it to your notice. You take care."
Okay.
A lot of times, witnesses also like don't care attitude. Not my problem. Didn't happen to me, so probably why should I talk about it, right?
Okay.
So when these things happen, a lot of things, and when it is nipped at the bud, right, it becomes a smaller issue. When you let it grow, one, it empowers the perpetrator to do more. They think that the silence of the victims encourages, it actually encourages them, and they keep continuing to do it with multiple women. But the moment the first woman still speaks and nips it, probably we can just close it at a warning. But when it becomes a huge one, a big impact to the brand image, the productivity, definitely leads to termination of probably multiple people, also people who supported the other person as well,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, it's just not the brand image of the company. Actually, at some point of time, I see India right now is in a place where service industry is the main thing, the revenue earner, and if the few brand images of the companies are going, then the brand image of the country is also going. So that's where the very critical for most of the people need to behave well,
Right.
because they are not earning money for them. Actually, they are building the brand for the future.
Right.
That point which they are missing it out when
very
you are
rightly
going
said,
across.
beautifully said. I think so. I think organizations, I mean, multinational companies are looking to come and set shop in India, and these small media issues actually corrupts the brand of the country itself.
That's right.
So I think leaders play a very crucial role. And also one thing that I have noticed is HR partners, they also play a very crucial role in understanding what the do's, don'ts, and not neglecting any form of issues, right?
Yeah.
Because I think one of the recent case, again, that is what is the major thing, where complaints were raised and it just kept being neglected, where leaders neglected it and HR partners neglected it. So do not neglect any small incident. Also take it to the committee.
Right.
Committee is empowered.
That's
They are
right.
given and I think I must say this: India is the only country where the sexual harassment law gives the powers of a civil code to the committee within the organization. None of the other countries, all the countries, majority of the countries have sexual harassment law, but the committees that are formed within organizations, they are empowered with judicial powers. That is the only thing that I've seen in India, which is like brilliant as compared to other
Fantastic.
countries.
So I just wanted to come to that one, but before that, you touched one more point which says that the leaders should behave well and leaders should bring it up. And here is a point. I saw you have written two books also. most of the cases are kind of described in a way people can understand how serious the problem is. And most of the places is like kind of I could see an individual starting the problem, and then it becomes slowly institutionalizing within that organization. Uh, to a question which I wanted to ask, I know it's like it's not the subject, but you're also a, a mother who is raising a boy, and there's a lot of things which is there in the family thing. As a society or as a family unity, have we missed something to bring up? We bring up so much on the education side of it. Have we missed educating people on the behavioral or the character side of it? Should it be one of the things part of the Vishaka guidelines, like how to train the characters of individuals within the organization? Because we are now the Vishaka guidelines talks about like after it has happened, what do we do?
Correct.
Or these are the things probably professional setup needs to be done to prevent it. But even a prevention, which I would probably say through a guideline or act or whatever it is, but have we missed out an opportunity to build the characters of the leaders? A mandatory training is not there in the Vishaka guidelines. Should
Right.
it be a part of the act and say in a minimum of 1 year, 40 hours should be dedicated for a character training?
What a lovely thought, actually. So that's a beautiful point. The law talks about prevention, right? But it doesn't really address what prevention measures. Gender sensitization is something that a lot of organizations do. They talk about gender equality, gender sensitization, the issues that women go through. But character building, what men should do, that is not something that has been taught, neither in our schools as well. So I think probably you should start catch them young from the school itself, and even in the family level. I think some of the movies that are coming also are really talking about the recent movie that I saw, Chiraya. So it actually said when women even start small things like cooking their own favorite food, when mothers cook favorite food in their own home, their own dish. That
Okay.
is when I think the boys in the thing, they, because the moment the mother makes dishes that the husband likes or the son
Yeah.
likes, you're putting them on a pedestal. They
Okay.
think that as male they are privileged, right? These are small things that
Okay.
I think women should start at home. And as mothers, I think we have a bigger responsibility. We've always been saying, protecting our girl child, saying that he dress well and go, come back soon after 9. But we don't tell our children saying that behave well. Consent is important, right?
Okay.
I think that is something that definitely I think it has to start at home. Each and every woman has that responsibility to bring up the next generation in the right manner. And fathers, definitely, I think the moment they start respecting the women in the respecting their wives and treating their wives well, and that is what is the example that they're going to set for the next generation.
Yeah.
I think so. It's equal responsibility. I won't say just mothers, but I think fathers also have the responsibility to do well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, again, we touched briefly about the social norms and how to build the character. You wrote two books. I think it's widely read by everybody, and it's a most sort of a book, especially for the posh related things. Uh, can you give a brief of? There are two books now, which is, and I know you are writing one more book right now. So, can you give a brief of what it is?
Yeah.
And what inspired what what did it inspire you to kind of write that kind of a book?
Yeah. So, as you said, when I started my journey, that is when 2013 is when I started my journey into being called as a POSH expert or POSH SME. And at that particular point of time, it was all lawyers were talking about it because there's a law on that. It's all in legal terminologies. And I don't come from a law background, so even I neither could I understand what the legal terminologies were, but I knew what was sexual harassment, right? So I wanted it to reach to all the employees across the country, right, for the HR to read. And having come from the background, having handled a lot of cases, having seen a lot of scenarios around me, So I said, why not keep it in a very story format, right? So my book, BCC Behind Closed Cubicles. The book is actually a collection of 18 short stories. These are all real life stories that's happened across various different industries. I talk about hospital industry, manufacturing, airline, IT, different sectors is what I've touched upon. And the stories talk about what happened, what could have been done to prevent, and what does the law talk about it. So it's very simple and easy to understand for anyone who's a victim, anyone who's a respondent, and for the gatekeepers in the organization, the HR or the POSH committees. And that is where it came in. The book came out in 2016 and still selling, and a lot of people are still buying and talking about the book. I think and that was the first book that I wrote. I was not a great writer as well, so I was actually having butterflies when the book was released.
Okay.
But thankfully, I think the content was good and it's still working.
Okay.
The second book again is around COVID. Is when I thought about writing Break the Taboo. It's about mental health, and during COVID, a lot of people were going through things. So I said, and in India, mental health is still a taboo where people don't, they hesitate to go and talk to a psychologist. Unlike in US or UK, they go to a shrink, and every now and then they don't hesitate to go and talk to a shrink. But in India, that's not the case. They think it is not okay. It's still a stigma to go and talk to a psychologist. So I wanted to break that stigma. So again, I made it in the short story format with real life examples. And this book again around workplaces, since I deal with a lot of workplace issues.
Okay.
Around workplace is what I spoke about it.
Okay.
And the next book that I'm writing is on diversity and inclusion.
Okay.
Stories around various diversities in India and the issues that happen because of that.
Okay.
At workplaces.
Okay. So diversity is inclusion. So what are those things which are happening in India? Because it's all, I think you have extended one by one an interesting topics, which is basically people look at it. All these are taboo words. Sometime back in India, people won't even talk about it.
Yeah.
So now it's like open up and speak about it, and they're coming out to the guidelines also. So what's new happening there?
Right. So, unlike in global countries, I think racism is a big thing there. In India, gender diversity is a major thing where women employees, because one in India, the gender ratios, the women in the workforce is still low. We have 50% population, whereas women coming into workforce is hardly 34% in IT, 45 in IT sectors, whereas on an average it's only 23% workforce women who have come into the workforce.
Okay.
We still have a long way to go to bring women into the workforce. One, government is having a lot of policies. So gender diversity, a lot of organizations are talking about it to bring in a lot of women. So gender diversity is a big thing in India. Apart from gender diversity, bringing in people from various regions and religion. So in India, we speak a lot of languages. The religion is vast. So I think even these issues, there are a lot of discriminations that are happening based on that. So that is the second diverse part that organizations are focusing on to having a thing. And definitely the benefits of having a diverse workforce is already listed. People are seeing the benefits out of that.
Okay.
So to capitalize on those benefits, organizations are talking about gender diversity and this thing in a major way.
Okay.
And few organizations are definitely leveraging people with disabilities. LGBTQ, though not really picked up in India yet, but there are very few large companies, large multinational companies, they understand and they are talking about it. The smaller companies, we still have a long way to go. Governments are also recognizing there's a lot of bills that are being brought about, but there is a lot of discussions going around in the country about it. So we still have a long way to go on the LGBTQ front.
Okay. Okay. Great. So again, back to the Vishaka guidelines, right? Like, so, because this is one thing which everybody should know. So you spoke about it. As an organization, what does the law says to be? These are mandated. There's no deviation from here. Of course, there is an investment from the company to follow the Vishaka guidelines, and many still don't want to follow because they wanted to curtail the investments into that. I know it's very risky to go into that route of not investing in a place where it should be invested. What are those guidelines?
Yeah. So law very clearly calls it
But
out.
is it still Vishaka is what we are talking, or is it like kind of it has changed from Vishaka to something else?
Yes, I think yeah, I'll address that. So Vishaka was there from 1996 till about 2013. The Vishaka guidelines is only a guideline, and the bill was passed to convert the Vishaka guidelines to an act.
Okay.
So the act was called as Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace.
Okay.
In 2013, that's
Okay.
when the act came in.
Okay.
And in 2012, the Nirbhaya incident all happened. So that was a push to convert the guideline to an act.
Okay.
So we address it henceforth. We've been calling it only as the Sexual Harassment Act.
Okay.
So as per the act, it's very clear. Organizations which has more than 10 employees,
Okay.
be it all male or women, doesn't matter. Minimum 10 employees, you have to be compliant to the act.
Okay.
And simple steps. One, you have to create a policy on saying that sexual harassment is there's zero tolerance, we don't tolerate it. Two, there should be posters displayed across the organization saying there's zero tolerance again. We are adherent to the committee, to the law. Number three, every organization should form a POSH committee, the sexual harassment committee, which will hear out any concerns.
Okay.
And there are some compositions on how the committee has to be formed.
Okay.
There should be a senior women employee who has to head the committee. Minimum 4 members are required. There should be one external member who has to be part of the committee
Okay.
to ensure there is no bias that's happening in any case hearings.
Okay.
So committee has to be formed. And lastly, trainings have to be done for all the employees on an annual basis
Okay.
on do's and don'ts of harassment. What is harassment, those things that has to be done.
Okay.
And annual filing of the reports has to be done to the government authorities at the end of every calendar year.
Okay.
So these are basic 4-5 adherence steps that has to be followed by any organization. Minimal investments are required.
Okay.
So and definitely, and I would say in India, sadly, only 30 to 40% organizations are compliant, and that too in metro cities and large cities.
Okay.
In tier 2, tier 3 cities, I would say 1%, 2% are only compliant.
My God.
So it was really, we still have a long way to go, and I definitely would urge organizations. We are seeing this major TCS issue that's there in the media that's come in, where the organization itself has to shut shop, they have to shut their BPO operations itself, and it is blown to such huge thing. I don't want any organization to face that kind of issue. Compliance is not really expensive. It's a minimal procedure. There are I'm also part of CII, the industry forums and all. We provide guidelines and templates for organizations to be compliant, free of cost itself, right? So definitely please be compliant. Sensitize your employees on do's and don'ts. Sexual harassment is a reality. 5 to 6% of women are undergoing harassment. So it's important that organizations are compliant. So any organizations that are coming to India, so India is definitely safe. It's not that a lot of sexual harassment is happening. It is happening globally. I also work with a lot of multinational companies. I am seeing numbers across Philippines or Mauritius or South Africa, South America, US, UK, everywhere it is there.
Okay.
So sexual harassment is prevalent everywhere. In India, the compliance factor, as long as organizations are compliant, as long as leaders take that step, so definitely your brand is going to be protected against any lawsuits, and your organization productivity is going to be much better.
Okay. So two questions comes out of that. One, you said that like many are not compliant. Is there a penal provision that like if it's not compliant, the government takes steps? The Nashi case is different because it is shutting their shop. The company has announced it. It's still not, nobody has forced them to close that one, but we'll come to that one. But the other side of it is like, if we don't follow. Company says like, it's okay, I'll manage. Can they really manage? Because like, what is the risk of not complying? Can any officer from the government suo moto come inside the company and take an action?
Yeah. So law provides provisions for penalty where they're saying the first time for non-compliance is a 50,000 rupees fine, and second time the license can be cancelled.
Oh my.
License to run the business can be cancelled.
Okay.
Right. And honestly, I've not seen a single company being cancelled so far because no one's actually reported it, right? But if a woman speaks about it, right,
Okay.
in social media and organizations, and it is proven that they are not compliant, then all of these things will definitely come in play. And any labor from any labor department, the inspectors can come in and do an audit whether you're
Okay.
compliant or not.
Okay.
I've seen organizations where people have just walked in into even small dealer showrooms, car showrooms, and all. They've walked in and they said, "I want to see whether your employees are compliant or not."
Okay.
Right? And in some cases, it's been triggered because there's an anonymous complaint that's gone into a CM cell, Chief Minister's cell, or it has gone to the Commissioner's office, and then they trigger it.
Okay.
Right? It's happened that way also, but voluntarily also organizations are taking, and a lot of in Mumbai, Hyderabad, Gurgaon. I know the police also does a lot of awareness in terms of ensuring safety is there. Because all of these places, women are a lot of night shifts also happening there. It's also a responsibility for the police authorities to ensure women are safe when they're traveling and everything. So they're also creating a lot of awareness.
Okay.
So definitely, it is very important that organizations are compliant. Not don't worry about the penal whether it's going to be license going to be cancelled or not. But the bigger problem is things going into media, your brand reputation is going to be impacted. You're going to lose clients. Clients are not going to sign up with you, and that is the bigger issue that you need to be worried about, not whether the government is going to come. And that is what is happening current in the current media thing. And I think TCS is one. TCS Nasik case is one of the issues that is followed with Infosys BPO employees from Pune, where they have started talking about it on social media. They've had the courage. So now I think a lot more employees are getting the courage saying, "Hey, I'm not alone. It's happening everywhere. Let me also speak up about it."
Okay.
So that is a bigger issue where organizations have to be worried. Please do social listening. Keep checking your Glassdoor reviews to see what employees are actually talking about your organization. So
Yeah.
that's also very important.
So a lot of GCC companies are now coming. We're talking about the Indian companies, but the GCC companies are coming. They wanted to establish an office here. Large companies, of course, because everywhere they practice that one, it becomes much easier. For mid-market companies, when they come here, if there is an advice which you wanted to give on the day zero, like you have to think about it, creating a POSH committee and things like that. If they wanted to come here, on an average, when the leadership is chosen, how much of investment in time is required by the uh, senior leadership in various countries to spend their time and money on choosing a leader here in terms of educating them that like this is one of the important factors which you need to look into before you establish anything here. So if you want to give an advice to mid-market companies to come here, what would it be?
Yeah. So definitely, see, once you have a plan, definitely you're going to have a growing employee size. Moment you've identified your HR leader or someone from your, if you have a legal person who's there in your thing, please have them to work with a professional who, or an expert on this topic. It's, as I said, it is very, very minimal. So you can be compliant within a week's time. All that you need is to have a POSH policy, and you need to, of course, form a POSH committee. So, and you need at least 4 employees for that. But I would say that at least when once you have crossed the 10 employee threshold, so please form the POSH committee immediately
Okay.
and start the awareness.
Okay.
So that is something, and it is very, very minimal. The time is, as long as you work with the right expert to give you the guidance, the time that's involved from your end is going to be just, maybe I would say 1 or 2 hours is what we'll need from your end,
Okay.
and a SPOC with whom we can work with.
Okay.
And in terms of money investment also, see, it is about, it is very minimal, right? Depends on the employee count, how many training sessions you need, how much awareness you need. So as your count is growing, employee strength is growing, that is where more money is going to be required in terms of investment.
Okay.
Or if there's a case that comes in the investigation and everything, that is when you'll have to be putting in financial investments. Otherwise, to start with, I would say prevention is much cheaper.
Okay.
Prevention is much, much easier, less headache.
Okay.
So get started with prevention, and then if at all there is a complaint, redressal becomes easier. And when you do it at an early stage, it becomes easier and less expensive.
Okay. So again, for the GCC companies, is typically when they set up in India, what happens is there are people coming from different parts of the countries to India. Uh, we know that like okay, they are employees, those who are there in India, they are employees of India, India business unit. When this kind of a sexual harassment happens, the POSH is very clear that employees, those who are here and they are working here, the POSH Act applies to them. But when a person who is visiting from other places, if for a from a parent company who is visiting here, and if there is a sexual harassment happens when they are visiting, because they are not India employees, they are visiting from outside. Does the act applies to everyone, those who are involved in the company, be it a parent company or a subsidiary or a parent company to GCC companies? Does it apply to everyone?
Yeah, so beautiful question. So I have been having such cases as well, multiple cases. So the law of the land applies.
Okay.
Be it people traveling from outside India to India, or even from employees from India traveling to the parent company.
Okay.
So it definitely applies to, it's vice versa, and whichever country it happened, the law of the land applies.
Okay.
So and also, let's say a women employee traveled from India to another country. So I handled one such case where a lady traveled to Italy and something happened there, and she came back to India and she filed a complaint with the Indian counterpart. So again, it was dealt under the Indian law, because the lady said, I wanted to be pursued under Indian law.
Okay.
Right, though and you were the one who sent me there.
Okay.
So I think these are small that has to be taken care.
Okay.
And I would definitely urge multinational companies. You could be having global legal teams over there. Do not put pressure on the Indian teams.
Okay.
Indian laws are different, and confidentiality is something that has to be adhered to by the committees in India.
Okay.
So they cannot keep divulging details, or they cannot thing, and it has to be adhered as per the Indian laws. As long as you are in safe hands, ensure that you are external member, you have a strong person, your POSH committee is strong and knowledgeable. As long as that is taken care, it will be happening in a fair manner. But please sensitize employees when they're traveling, both
Yeah.
ways. Cultural
So-
sensitivity is very, very important, and India is still a very conservative nation,
Yeah.
right? So hugging an employee or asking them out for a drink, see, all these things are still may not go well with employees.
Okay.
So has to be cautious.
Confidentiality is like kind of, it's again one last thing which I just wanted to add it here. Even a CEO of the company cannot be part of the POSH committee, right? And the report does not go to him unless the POSH committee finishes the entire case laws, right? So
Correct.
to that extent, even the India CEO is not eligible to get all the information unless the POSH committee finishes the finding,
Right.
which means that like even those information cannot be transferred to the parent companies. They have to wait till everything is settled.
Correct, correct. Absolutely rightly said. And please give that independence to your POSH committee. Empower them and let them do their work.
Okay.
And that's something that's very important
Okay.
for leaders to support.
Okay.
Yeah.
One final question is like, if anyone who wants to start in India, they want to come in India. You have worked with a lot of multinational companies and also different countries also. How India is compared to rest of the world? Like, is it still considered safe? It's better than the average. Uh, how do you classify India as? Is it on par with the developed countries in terms of handling these cases?
So yes, I would say definitely yes, because as I said, the law is much more stringent in India. The Every workplace there is this committee which is given the judicial powers. So the courtroom is there within every workplace itself, and that is not there in any other country. So that's how powerful the law in India is. And there are other regulations, the Shops and Establishment Act, and which actually gives guidelines to provide safe transportation for women employees. So it takes care of the safety of employees during night shifts and everything.
Yeah.
So definitely India is much safer, and the infrastructure and everything has grown, and awareness is there a lot now. So and thanks to the Nashik case, though it has become a huge thing, but now a lot more women will definitely speak up, for sure. And organizations, they definitely know the seriousness of compliance now. So, but I would definitely urge not wait for such incidents to happen.
Okay. Pleasure talking to you, Viji. Actually, it's been a lot informational. And I would say, for me, is like kind of certain things are not clear, especially when I look at it kind of a Nashik case, the difference between the sexual harassment or the workplace harassment, like what to take it, how to take it. And I've been living in the old world, which is again Vishaka guidelines. The POSH Act, which is completely taken the Vishaka guidelines. A lot of things which you have detailed out. Thanks a lot. Thanks for spending the time. Thanks for coming here. It's my pleasure always.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me as part of the Dexian Talks. It was a pleasure talking here.
This conversation was insightful, grounding, and deeply relevant. You remind us the great workplace are not built only through policies and process, but through trust, empathy, courage, and everyday actions. Your journey, your voice, and the work you continue to do through SecureUs are truly inspiring. It was a privilege to have Viji with us today, especially at the time when conversation around culture, inclusion, and employee well-being matter more than ever. We will meet you in another episode in Dexian Talks with another interesting guest. Thank you.
We are Dexian, in the business for good.